Life of Tom is in the building for like the third or fourth time. He can't get enough of me. He just keeps coming back. He loves hanging out.
Scott.
He has a great time when he's here. Appreciate you coming.
My dude. Yeah.
We're doing it. How you feeling? How's life?
Oh, busy, man.
Guys, it seems busy.
It's mad busy.
He's been locked in on his phone, calls, texts, business meetings.
Yeah, no, I'm wild.
Mid doing content.
Yeah,
this man's locked in.
Nah. Things are good, bro. Things are good. Aside just like, like everything, Floyd, kind of like we was chopping it up earlier, aside things just being really flooded right now, like really, really feeling internally like we're good. I'm good. I'm hyped, man.
Good. I want to start off where we start getting into it. We got a new album coming. We got new singles. We got it all. He's doing a lot, but I want to start with something unrelated. I brought, just because I want you to see how ridiculous it is from after you did it. Not the last time I saw Tom, but I saw Tom perform, and he signed this shirt for me, and it's one of the most ridiculous signatures.
It's so bad.
It's so ridiculous.
So bad. Like that fucking Sharpie was like so dry.
I have the video. I'll put it in this. But Tom just like, hey, let me sign this shirt for you. I was like, yeah, man, sure. And it took him like 10 minutes, and it's insane.
It's like terrible, but it's like it's kind of great.
It's sick. It's so not nice that it's nice.
Holy fuck, Tom, I'm so sorry. How do you sign a black shirt? I don't fucking know. It's not signing.
Do it. Just do it anyway.
Sign it! Fuck, I'm signing it! I'm signing it, fuck! That's it, it's signed. You got initials and scribbles, you got... I don't know, you got character! You got a little... Who cares? Oh, wait, look, we got to cross in the armpit section. That's how special you are. I said, take this shit away from me, God damn it, dog. I fucking love you. I feel like for Aura Vibes, it definitely adds, value for sure.
I love this. So I just wanted to show you that I still have it.
Damn, wow.
The next Life of Tom show, I will be rocking it.
Yeah. No, that was a good one, man. Those all sold out on tour, man. By literally right after New York, as soon as we hit Michigan, as soon as we hit Grand Rapids, I was fucked.
How was that tour? Life of Tom was on the PIFF Tour with Lord Sko.
Yes, sir, man. Shout out Lord Sko, man. It's my brother, man. Shout out the PIFF Tour, man. Uptown shit. That was great. Yeah. That was actually so fun.
What was the craziest moment from touring? That was your first full tour, right?
Yeah, that was my first time. First run, multiple cities, whole nationwide. I mean, it was definitely, I think the craziest point was when we, at least I know for me, because we had multiple ones, but if there was one that I could speak of, it was the Grand Rapids show. Personally, I'd say I'll give two answers. For all of us, I feel like we kept saying, the Grand Rapids show just because it had hit home so much. There's this kid, shout out Micah, man. He came with his whole fam, and he was called Mini Lord Sko because he pulled up with Tim's on.
I saw that. Sko posts a picture with him, right?
Ed Hardy pants, and then he had the Cudi. He had the Cudi sweater on, and there was other fans in there giving giveaways, of their own stuff. Mad P. We was connecting with a whole family. You know what I mean? Like it hit home. We also had shout out Kai Crusade. He also was a part of the lineup too. Dope. You know what I mean? And I was also where Langston Bristol also joined too. The full formation of the tour, low key established right there. And that was that. And I remember when we were discussing which one was the most memorable, and it was it was definitely the Grand Rapids one. Though I'd say for me, it had to definitely be, I feel like Chicago. Cause Chicago, I brought out Femdot, and
Femdot's dope.
Black Sam popped out.
Black Sam is dope.
Thelonious Martin, that's they all it's bro, what I mean? It's all the homies, GQ the teacher, it was a lot of different. It was cool, shout out to my boy JKV, someone I've been working with, was working with for a long time. Different things, different people from different corners, the journey is cool, and it's we brought out mad different people in New York, but that's in the towns, it's it's a little different when you outside, you got, you just have that. And I know personally that was just also a cool time. We hung out with Black Sam after. We went to, Portelio's, ate mad food. That was also the transition to going to the West Coast side of the tour. And that was just a crazy, it was just crazy, man. But those are the two I could speak on for sure.
Yeah. And then, speaking of Sko, you guys just dropped this, or you did drop the single for the album, 42nd Street.
Son. Welcome to Port Authority, man.
Yeah. How did that song come about?
What's
the lore?
Yo, bro. So there's like a couple different things I can speak on, but like, yeah, man, 42nd Street. Well, we did this song initially when we first recorded it. It was like around this time last year. And we recorded at this spot where it's like the same studio place where I work with Cudi a lot at. Okay. And his homeboy, NDK was in there, and he was the dude that played the guitar riffs on 85. All right.
Classic.
Yeah.
A Life of Tom classic.
You know what I mean? And you know, he was showing love, bro. He was showing love, man. He was like, yo, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, I got this shit with Plain Pat. We need like a spot to like work on. Pat, just pull up, man. And I remember the night I recorded 42nd Street, like I remember being sick. I was sick, bro, but I pushed it to go to the stew, like even after a whole other like session and a whole other networking event. Like I remember that day is when like the fever came down. And at that point, being at that spot, you know, I was just like, fuck. And, you know, like I think Pat got sick too. But it was cool because like, I was working on Port Authority, man. Like I had a whole job over, you know, by Microsoft, man. And I was going from like there down to like engine room, you know, like cook out of my bro hip hop spot, you know what I mean? You know, and it's like, you know, all that plus like, you know, then being in the Uber with Sko going to Young World, and then like me bumping like, yo bro, check the shit out I got with Plain Pat, and him being like, oh my god, and then him playing me his joint, and then him playing me his joint with Conway, you know, off like
That's
that.
True.
And then like we was
That's
just
crazy.
And then us just like letting
Dude,
him,
that is so true. Like you and your boys, and you're like, yo, look at me with Static. Oh wait, look at me with Plain Pat. Oh, like, look at me with this. Yeah, like that's probably crazy.
You know,
like,
and I think like all that, the string of events, bro, like to then see what it led to a year later is just like so fucking cool. And that's like to wake up every day and have that joy and that love, like that shit is, it was mad different, you know, sections of law. Also, we played this shit all over the fucking US. Yeah. Literally. So people was waiting on that.
Yeah, because you played that like, I saw it at a show. I forget what show was that.
It was
it Justice's show?
It was Justice Xavier's show.
Yeah,
we did it elsewhere.
You guys did it there,
that was
right?
the first time we let it off.
Really? That was a while ago.
Yeah, bro. That was I was literally like.
You said you did it last year, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And the video for it was dope too.
Yeah, yo, shout out Temmie, shout out Alex. Those guys killed the video, man. Yeah, that was crazy.
And then this is all leading up to the new album with Plain Pat. That's titled Driving Blind. How did you guys, like, for people who don't know, Plain Pat is a legend. We were talking about this before we recorded.
Yes.
I don't think the newer generation of people, even my generation of people, because like I kind of know it, but
yeah,
when he was doing these things, like we were young at a younger age. But Plain Pat is a very legendary figure in the music industry. He was instrumental in the careers of some of the biggest artists, Kanye, Kid Cudi, he's worked with a ton of others.
Drake.
So to get like just the cosign from him alone is insane.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like people say like, you actually said before we record, like, oh, he's like your favorite A&R's favorite A&R. Like people say that, like every people in the industry are like, oh shit, you got a Plain Pat cosign? That's crazy. Yeah. But to work with him is like a whole nother thing. For him to be confident enough in you and fuck with you that heavy, to be like,
it's crazy.
I don't just co-sign your music, or I want to do this to you, I want to do a full project with you, is insane.
Yeah.
So how did that like come about? How did you guys develop a relationship to do that?
Yeah. So I'll go into it. Like the way the whole lore started was Pat and Dot the Genius were in LA 2023, you know, just like, you know, cooking up, man, and they were looking for some, you know, some other artists for Pat to work with. And, you know, Pat had seen a song I had did with Fergie Baby called Smoke.
Fergie Baby's
and he was like, yo, yeah, shouts Ferg, man. And, you know, pretty much reached out to my boy Had Real. You know, he's the manager on my team. You know, along with the other teammates. And he reached out. And that's someone who I didn't know would become that, you know, now at, you know, the time learning these things, you know. And he reached out to my boy James Burns, who was the artist that I was working with in Brewery Studios, which is owned, you know, if you know, it's owned by Dr. Genius. Mm-hmm. And, he calls me. He's like, yo, like, for me, like, Plain Pat wants to work with us. Like, one of the guys that works with the studio reached out to me directly, and next thing you know, they're like, in March, pretty much, we got reached out like top of January. By freaking March, we was in the spot with Plain Pat. Real was there. James Burns was there, and like we, there's some other folks. At the time we was just cooking, man. It was natural. It was just mad natural. And at the time I didn't think a whole album would come out.
I was gonna say, like, at what point did it go from like, let's just work together, cook up together in the studio, to like, all right, we're doing a full body of work?
It's funny because when my man's in there, like he basically like, and once again, like the discovery of it, it was different, things in the pot, you know what I mean? It's just like natural chain reactions, bro. And it's just like, I remember my man's being like, "Oh, I can smell an album," and then I'm like, I remember me and Pat. I remember me just being like, "Word." I remember Pat like being like, "Okay, I'm not, album, I don't know," but we're just meeting each other at the same time, so it's like don't want to assume something so like big like that. And I kid you not, I honestly I showed up. I was putting out Coco Tasso. I linked the guy who essentially reached out to, me and James Burns, who is now in the management. And that was the start, bro. I kid you not. Last summer, we started crafting it. Like, Pat came out to the Coco Tasso release party. You know what I mean? We was going, we was topping in with dudes like Kiambo Joshua, you know what I mean? Like, we was just the more like, we was just doing shit, man. Like it just was like, there is a project now, I have these folders, these Dropbox of beats, mad beats. Crazy. Like, I don't even know if like, I don't know how old or new they are. I just know they just sound fire, son. And like, embodying them, and eventually, with all the, maneuvers going around and the behavior, it was just like there's an album on the way. Yes. That's it.
So what was the exact role like he was playing? Like what did he add to like the creative process, the recording process? Like what was it like actually like making the music with him?
Yeah, I mean, it was, he was honestly like, he's like, obviously playing producer and shit, though he's also, he's like being a mentor, you know what I mean? Like a coach, you know what I mean? Any certain shit he peeping like, yo, I think you could redo that. I'm being open to be like, yeah, let's go. Like, I just want to make the best songs, like the best songs. And you know what I mean? I think that was really cool, because even at the same time when I was starting, like I was first starting to link up with my boy LV, the duo Sean C and LV. And like, LV would hammer in my head, it's about making good songs. And like, that, I mean, not to bring it far out, that was cool because at the time, like, Pat was just focused on making sure like we make like the best raps, like, like really like solid. So, that's what kind of even, tightened it up even more, you know what I mean? And by that time it was like, this is just, I know where this is going.
Yeah. I mean, just working with him, probably like there's just so much like
there's different
wisdom
things that
and
come out of it.
information to soak up, and like probably things he does that you never thought to do, or things he pays attention to that it's like it's unspoken, but he approaches it that way for a reason. He's experienced, he's like done a lot, so it's just like, I'm sure just working with him in general, you're probably going to take away so much stuff that's going to carry on like the rest of your career, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing to be around just like him, and the things that are webbed around it, and even the other dope deep cut producers and A&Rs, and just like the whole infrastructure around it and what it's kind of built up to. It's special, man. Like, it's mad special, and I couldn't be more than grateful, you know what I mean? Like, just super hype, son. It's the narrative, man.
Yeah. So what else can you tell us about the album, or like the making of it? What else, like what should people who haven't listened to it expect from it? Like, was there anything crazy that happened in the making of any of the music? Like,
yeah, man. Wow, there's so much, bro. I could talk about, so much I can't really talk about. But if I
good
could,
stuff.
yeah, all the good stuff,
the really good stuff.
Yeah. No. I mean, it was a crazy process, because at the same time when I'm making this body of work, I'm still focusing on Life of Tom. the brand, you know, the company, you know, the product, you know what I mean, the consumers. Like, you know, I'm putting out songs. I went on an extended single rollout for more than 9 months, man. And each song hit, you know what I mean? Each song was building traction, you know, the marketing went up each time, but at the same time, I'm cooking up this, you know, album, you know what I mean? I'm at Engine Room, you know, in the studio all the time, you know what I mean? Just like cooking up, working on it, man. This is me at the same time, you know, for me, like working like a part-time, you know, right here on Port, you know, right there on Port Authority, and then like going to somewhere like Manhattan Beach, but then boom, going straight down to Engine Room, then boom, going to like some event, then boom.
And people need to realize, I've joked about this with you before. Tom is everywhere. He's everywhere all at once at the same time. Whatever the title of that movie is, Tom is at every event. Every event I go to, he pulls up.
Yes, sir.
He's always in the studio. He's a studio rat. When Lord Sko was in here with him, they were talking about that. Like, it's not everybody is built to be on top of everything like that and be. It's
a different kind of stamina. I think when you really focused and you got a vision, man, and you like it now crystallizes into your life. It's in every crevice. You know, it's now, it's not about, you know, will this happen? It's happening. You know what I mean? So it's like, you want to show up, bro. And it's like, you want to be one of the top dogs. You know, you want to be you know what I mean? Like, I want to be a household name, man. So it's like, you know, me knowing that I have now like this blessing that's just kind of came out my corner randomly with Plain Pat. You know, this is someone who's, I've been aware of their music, you know, I've been aware of the stuff they've done, but I'm not on all the lore, you know what I mean? I'm learning all that. I'm meeting different people, you know, some of his closest homies that's deep in the game, you know what I mean? I'm getting in the lab with other people. I was like, what? Like, oh shit, like what the fuck? You know what I mean? It's definitely, and it's not, you know, it's not the end all be all, but what it is, it's a great jump. And it's a great welcoming into seeing that I've been doing this for this long, to see I'm just getting started.
Yeah, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
For all this to be happening, you're doing something right. This, you know, getting, like I said, the cosign from Plain Pat should open a lot of doors, or just like get people to take notice of who you are.
It definitely, you know, it's a great opportunity, you know, in terms of optics, you know what I mean, and just like visibility. But at the end of the day, the creative is beautiful, and it definitely, you know what I mean, like I'm telling you, you know, a lot of different, you know, just different behaviors, different things all happening at once, you know, while I'm at the end of the day, I'm putting my bets on this shit right here. You know, it definitely was a very crazy process. And at the midst of it, we went on tour, you know, we put out a whole fucking, whole other album.
Yeah, and I know Tom has a lot of music. He probably has like 10 different albums he could drop right now if he wants to. So like,
literally,
how does, so like, how do you even go about like the strategy of juggling? Obviously, like I have an album with Plain Pat. I'm going to prioritize that because that's some of the dopest shit I'll do.
Of course.
But like, just in general, when you have all this music, you said you went on the crazy singles run, you had like Ready or Not, Black Sam, all these different songs you're dropping. Like, how do you figure out like what to prioritize, what to focus on? Like, I don't know. It's like so much to juggle.
Well, it comes down to trajectory, you know, understanding like, okay, I have this project, got that in the vault, I'm working with this producer. All right, cool. I'm talking, you know, I'm educating these A&Rs about me, you know what I mean? You know, I'm showing up in these different emails, you know, okay, cool. I'm going with, you know, where things make sense, you know what I mean? And I think it's, you know, when you're making music all the time, like, to be honest with you, bro, I make so much music. I don't want to say like, not all of it's going to come out, but bro, I make too much damn music for my own damn good. And that's because it's a therapeutic thing for me, bro. Like I'm literally being in the studio, really like it's like knowing that this is like my job, my profession, my career. It's like also like it makes the creative still feel so alive, you know what I mean? And that's kind of why I'm like, you know, why I gotta work it like this in my head, because it's mad joints, bro. And I'm looking at my career as a long-term stability, and I would love to know that I'm making joints that'll be able to span me from here to like maybe the next 4 to 5 years. And that we read it, of course, you know, though readily right now, it's like we have that right now. So I'm looking at it like, holy shit, if I'm on top of that, then I can, you know, I'm already on the next thing.
The creative is on point. I just got to get the business right.
Yeah, and I think, you know, knowing that so much, once again, catalog is important, discography is important, you know, those are things that, you know, they save you, and it's the safety net in the long run of things. I feel like I'm on a great path towards that, and that's why it's no sweat, man. Like it's just good music, man.
Yeah. Another thing to get into with the Plain Pat lore is he's notoriously, like, you were lying to me that he was going to come today. I had a feeling he probably wasn't.
Yo,
because he's not a very public facing person. He doesn't do a lot of like press and media. He likes to be behind the scenes.
Yes.
And, you know, focus on the
Special.
creative aspect
It's
of it.
very special.
Yeah. So that's like not really his thing. But you got him like
got him outside.
You got him outside. He's listed as a primary artist on the songs, like the album and everything. Like he's like, which I don't think he's ever done before, has he?
Nah, it's his first time. You know, I mean, the closest thing that was probably there was like a bunch of stuff that he was doing, like, you know, his homeboy like Ferris, and just like, you know, maybe things outside of the big stuff, you know, he was doing, but like there was never nothing branded with him and another artist that it is stamped as this is equally my thing I'm putting in front of the people. And, you know, with Pat, it's special because there's such an intuition he works off of that's like, you know, it's the reason why he has so much of the respect and so much of, you know, the honor that he carries. And I mean, it's so cool to like kind of like, you know, step out with him and like, you know, kind of be out with him, and some people go up like, yo, that's like Plain Pat. And like, yo, motherfuckers will see me, they're like, oh, it's like for Tom, and like, I'll get the, I'll get the love, but then it's like someone's also like showing him love, and I want that for him, you know what I mean? Because like, you know, he truly has put a lot of time in his game, and he deserves what he deserves, you know what I mean? And to see when that happens, when it do, is like, it's beautiful. And he deserves to be outside where people receive him and they acknowledge him, you know what I mean? Like that's fire, son, you know. And at the end of the day, producers, you know, it was a thing where like they all kind of like always took the back end and didn't really get most of the recognition. So, you know, you know what I mean? In this new age, like, you know, if you gonna work with me, like, best believe, like, you getting the same love, man. That's and true, then, you know, and if that's also not your type speed, like, that's cool, you know. We gonna make sure at least, you know, something is seen here.
The person working on it is gonna get what they want out of it.
Of course, and you know, and Pat's like, you know, Pat's my guy, man. Like, great dude, bro. You know, when we do come outside, man, it's a vibe, bro. Like you know what I mean? We working and, you know, we enjoying ourselves, man. Like, but you know, Plain Pat, what up, man?
Yeah. So now, like, you have all this momentum, like you said, like all the singles you were putting out, like, were doing really well. Like, everyone's taking more notice of you. Your profile in the industry is growing. You're making all these connections. Like, what has been like the thing you've had to really adjust to, or the thing you maybe learned that you didn't know earlier in the game when you're operating a little more independently? Like, how have things changed?
Oh man, I would say, you know, I was funny because I was just on a call with my bro Pal P, coming on this interview. Yeah, man. And we was talking, and he was like, you know, we was talking, I was telling him how, like, sometimes I really am so bad at smelling the roses. Cause
you're on go, like, nonstop.
And like, you know, I think the thing is, when you're the artist, people gonna measure your growth way more than you can. You know what I mean? It's just naturally what it is. Though recently I've been able to, like, you know, I would say my shoulders is never, you know, I bring the shoulders down a little bit, you know what I mean? You know, it's like you're always working, you're always on the move, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you got to sometimes sit back and really peep what's going on. And from last year to now, I definitely feel like the audience is expanded. I feel like, you know, there's more engagement just in terms of just the fans and like the support they really want to show me. It's like even going from people that are just like maybe active, you know, just listeners to actually, like, you know, then going into the socials, then joining like the Discords, the broadcast, you know, channels, like, you know, hitting you up for like, yo, when's this merch coming out? I definitely feel like there's way more, you know, I feel like in a community where so much going on, I'm really staying loud. I'm staying mad loud, son. Like, mad, and that's important as an artist, you know, nowadays. You know, you want to find you want to create a system that allows you to stay in your greatest light as best as possible when there's so much people trying to do that, you know, I wouldn't say the same thing, but you know.
Yeah, you got to cut through the noise.
Got to cut through the noise, bro. It's a lot of noise going on, son. You know, so I even feel like even from the people I'm working with now, even like, you know, being shouted out on like, you know, Breakfast Club, like, you know.
Yeah, we were talking about that before. Nyla Simone
yeah,
shouting you out, shit like
you
that.
know,
That's
and
crazy.
like, you know, getting love on just like, you know, other accords, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the shit is special. And I think that's just like a summary of me just saying like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, you're locked in and, you know, there's some weight that's starting to establish itself, you know what I mean? And that I'm like, word, that's the real workings, you know what I mean? Because there's so many ways you could go about this game, son, you know, and it's not really about the game, you know, but at the end of the day, it's also understanding, you know, just where things is going. And like, if you could really understand that, bro, you know what I mean? And you really grind and you go crazy, man, and you brick by brick build, you have something really solid, you know what I mean, sticking in an ever-growing landscape that changes damn near every day, son.
Yeah, it's true. You got to be on top of it.
You know what I mean?
Quick. Let's talk about the features, the people you worked with.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So like who are the features? We got Sko.
Yep.
We got Wiki.
Yes,
You're
sir.
posting with him.
We got Suave, we got Cautious Clay, we got Jev, and we got Wise Boy Jeremy. Am I missing anyone? No.
I think that's it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Wow. All great artists, all great people. Mad respect and love for all those dudes, you know. I mean, Cautious Clay is definitely one of like the random ones. He didn't do vocals on the project, he co-produced the record with Pat.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, man. We actually shot a cool video for it. Like he's actually like one of like the co-stars like in the video. It's like mad fire. And then like, you know, Jev, Wise Boy Jeremy, like Wise Boy's my brother, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's Hokage right there, you know what I mean? Like that's Jersey right there, you know. And you know, it's fire, you know, Sko, and you know, I know Wise because of Sko. You know what I mean? So, and Sko's on the tape, like, you know what I mean? That's my brother. You know what I mean? Everyone, like, I fuck with Jev, you know, that Canada connection.
I love Jev,
that's
dude.
mad special.
I've been on Jev for like fucking, I don't even know how
yo,
long.
like,
Jev's
yo,
fire,
he's great, man.
He's
like,
so
he, you know what I mean? He's been doing his thing for a second, you know, just, you know, but I've been peeping for like the last 3 years. Let's see, even someone like Suave too, man. I've been on Suave since like 2020 when he dropped. He dropped like that. He dropped that tape that had like the blue in the cover in the back. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I don't. You know what I mean? I don't want to say the wrong thing and disrespect it.
I want to look that up. I don't want to do the conversation.
But you know, it was cool to have him. You know, I feel like he did his thing on this. Who else am I missing? A shout out. And
Jev and Wise Boy are on the same track.
They're on.
Cadillac,
they're on Cadillac. You know, the focus for the album. Yeah, man. That is truly one of my favorite records, bro.
Yeah. It's
just like mad vibey, you know what I mean? I think it's the one that really made sense to kind of like have more than like one feature on, you know what I mean? And on tour too, like when I rap the verse, like people just go crazy every time, son.
When you were talking about like the focusing on trying to make good songs, I assume that means like as opposed to just trying to like just rap the best, like is that what you mean? Like what was the adjustment you had to make where you're like, oh, I'm actually making good songs now that like maybe in hindsight that wasn't where my focus was? Like what was like the change in perspective?
I feel like my focus was always like, you know, like conscious, like mad deep rap connection.
Yeah.
You know, and I like realized, and this is when I started, you know, a lot of it, like I said, all intertwined at once, because like, you know, I was working with Pav, and you know, I get up with like my other mans, you know, and like, you know, I'm getting up with Stoic too, and you know, Stoic was one of the first people that really hammered it in my head, like, yo, like, I feel like there's something like we can really adjust here, King, basically. So, and I think when I was getting in with Pat too, like, you know, like sometimes whatever it was we was adjusting would maybe try to readjust itself back, and I'd be like, stop, Tom. Like, let's get off. Like, come on, man. Like, let's try it in this way, you know. And that to me just came from understanding, like, you don't gotta be so lyrical, bro, and you don't gotta be so, you know, deep, and you don't gotta be so surface, bro. It's just about a good song. You know, it's gonna have great structure. It's gonna have lyrics, and it's gonna have, you know, hooks and choruses that just they feel like so transparent, son. And I think that's the thing that's the link in our minds that makes our favorite songs. And when you know what that is, you don't got to question it. You trust your pen. And that's really where it comes down to, you know what I mean? As like an artist, you really got to trust your pen. And that comes down to like your own habits, your behaviors, mentally, where you at. And you know what I mean? Like the straight belt to asshole last year, son, buckle and everything. It still is, and that's the thing that, for me, it's like that, it's just about you, like, let's make good songs. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't need to try so hard. You know what I mean? Less is more. And like, if this is, if this direction, let's follow it. You know what I mean? And all that really highlighted, I've been making music for years, son. For the first time, I highlighted the craziest around the time all that begun, so it's special for me. Mm-hmm.
It's also crazy thinking about, like, you're saying you've been doing music forever, but still have, like, a lot of your friends and peers and you guys all, like, coming up together. Like, you mentioned Stoic, obviously. Everything he's legend. Had. And then, like, Sko, obviously. Yep. Like, it's cool that the people you've been doing with all kind of like hitting their stride around the same time. You guys all like taking bits and pieces from each other and shit like that.
And that's the thing, like, kind of when I came into like, the new lens of where the community is now, because, I wasn't really in tune with all the guys like that, even like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I was doing my own thing. I was in my own world so much, and don't get me wrong, I feel like I entered in a great time. Mm-hmm. Had a great time though, to see where it's, gone from then to now. It's really dope, the string of events, and just like how like centered it is. It's really fire, man.
Yeah. All right. What else from the project do you think people need to know, or anything? Anything from the behind the scenes that people can know?
Yeah, man. Like, bro, I could tell stories and stories and stories on this project. Like, one thing I definitely share is I learned a lot of patience. You know what I mean? When you doing things and you're putting out, you rolling out, and you might, there might be a new business model, and there might be new ideas you never thought of doing, for like a rollout, and and you're readily like thinking of all these different creative ways to keep this thing in the light. And then, you're thinking of now like vinyls and activations.
That
and,
is, yeah.
And, New York show, Europe show, all that shit, bro. Like, getting up with a different artist on the project, shooting it, like the whole, even just like shopping the thing around, getting the right protocol behind it. You know what I mean? Like, all, even, to the creative, the infrastructure, like everything, like it was just like, there was just so many moments, like, what I mean? Like through all that, where there was, maybe like, man, I know this is coming out, but like when, or like, or, moments when, I'm goddamn Blizzard, I'm still showing up. I'm going to the store, I'm staying there till 3, 4 in the morning. I rewrote the same song, 4 or 5 different times. Hell, like, I mean, if there's like specific lore I can't share, I was like, yo, oh, this is so much, bro. Like, I guess one of the cool things that was mad dope was like, I'd like be hitting up Overcast, and I'll be like, yo, bro, like, got this shit, man. And like, I remember like earlier this year, he like played me his tape, I played him mine, and like we was both listening.
The one he dropped already?
Yeah,
that's fire.
That's a great
so
album.
Good.
It's a great album, man. And like, Overcast is mad love to Cast, you know what I mean? Like, been on Cast stuff since like 2015, man. Yeah. So it was like, something like that, or like, kind of just one day being at the studio, and then someone like Havoc just pulls up, crazy. Just to like look at the room, apparently, you know what I mean? It's something, and like meet a dude real quick while I'm bumping the mixes for the project, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
That's like you're really doing it. That's
really
you
know what I mean? And it's mad. It's just like, it's just so many different cool shit. Or even just like being on the phone with like, just topping it up with someone like Dr. Genius, who's, him and Pat done so many different works together, and, talking, or even just kind of just walking different spots, and like people are like readily excited because they know like you're working with Plain Pat, and they fuck with Plain Pat, and they want to see more from him. And that's just like, that's so cool, because it's like this person not so outside or crazy or putting out crazy works, but like see how seated and cemented that is, man. Like I'm telling you, we could stay here for the rest of the night I could go off on some crazy stuff, but definitely like, you know, pulling everyone together the way I did, you know, was really dope.
And it's cool, like you're saying, like the whole, like, I think a lot of people have an idea in their head that once the business, like once you have to deal with the business side of it, it like hinders the creative, which it definitely in some ways probably does, but it also opens up a lot of possibilities that you can't do when you're just doing it on your own.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, and I think for me, I love the business, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you know, I'm not trying to say like I'm over here about turning some executive and it's by being a rapper.
Yeah.
Though what I'm saying is, if you're gonna do this shit, bro, you need to fucking like figure out, and part of my language, you know, to like really fall in love with the good and the bad, son, because this is journey. It is a career, it's a profession, and you know, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm not in it for no short play. So it's like you really gotta adjust on all ends, and kind of just feel like this whole year that the whole year process working on this shit was that adjustment for me. And I know that there's more coming, you know. It's like there's this and then there's way more fire, but you know, I know that like with it will come its own workings and different challenges and hurdles to get over. But yeah, man, like the shit's here, man.
Yeah.
Driving Blind.
All right, Driving Blind. Sounds like we're going to have some shows.
Yes, sir.
I heard the word vinyl. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check out Life of Tom. He is a phenomenal artist, and I've the short time we've known each other, I've witnessed how hard he works. So obviously all the good things that are coming his way are well deserved.
Not to interrupt you, but like also like just so I want to give a shout out to like dudes like like real talk, like James Burns, Tremel, man, like, hip hop, man, guys like Andy Kim, Static, man, like all the features, shit. I feel like there's so much other people.
You start going down that rabbit hole, you're like, I'm gonna thank everyone all night.
But those are like some of the people that was like, in the circle around, you know what I mean? And very grateful for everyone and everything that contributed, without saying the most, you know what I mean? Like very, very, very grateful for that, man. Albums, you know what I mean? They take time. You know, it's a whole world. You want to do it the right way. You know what I mean? And it's Driving Blind.
And it's worth it because it's fire.
Yes,
Check
sir.
it out. Thank you, Life of Tom. Everyone go follow him. Go stream the album. It's in the description. What, you're going to be back in like another month or something like that? We're just going to keep doing this every few months?
I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
My God.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
Yeah.